Only in the past week, Russia could transfer about 1,600 soldiers to Belarus. Investigators of the monitoring group Belaruski Gayun on January 6 and 7 noticed 2 trains with passenger carriages. Each, according to observers, could bring about 800 soldiers from Russia. The aggressor country is also actively transferring weapons. The General Staff of Ukraine is sure that they will not be able to use the equipment for some time. First, they need to put everything in order.
According to the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, a significant amount of weapons and military equipment arriving in Belarus from Russia to train enemy personnel has been removed from long-term storage. It requires time as well as considerable manpower and funds to restore it. Alexander Pavlyuk, Lieutenant General, Commander of Kiev Defense Forces, on Telegram.
The situation on the border remains quite tense. However, the situation is under control, Ukrainian border guards say.
Fortunately, we are not fixing at the moment any powerful strike force which the enemy could invade the territory of Ukraine, if it were a repeated invasion exclusively from the units of the Russian Federation. But we see that Russia is actively putting pressure on Belarus so that the divisions of Belarus will already join the full-scale war that Russia unleashed against our country.
Defense positions are being strengthened along the entire border with Belarus.
The border is invincible. Like all 320 days, we continue to build up the defense capability of the region and the country. We build fortifications and engineering structures. Everything will be Ukraine.
The situation is also aggravated by joint military drills of Russia and Belarus. On January 16th, another one will begin aviation. It will last until February 1st. However, the US Department of Defense sees no signs that Belarus will enter the war against Ukraine.
We do know that the Russians and the Belarusians are going to train together. We are not seeing any indications that Belarus has the intent to enter into the conflict. We just believe it's continuing training between the Belarusians and the Russians. Sabrina Singh, White House Deputy Press Secretary, from a press release of Pentagon.
Russia does not have enough resources for a new offensive from the territory of Belarus, according to the main intelligence directorate of Ukraine. And independent effective actions of Belarusian army in this case are hardly possible, experts say.
On their own, the Belarusian troops will not be able to mobilize enough to carry out some kind of offensive operations without the participation and support of the Russian military contingent. Here the question arises, to what extent the Russian military contingent has already arrived in Belarus to support its allies. We note extremely low activity in this area. Today we are talking about the presence of 11 to 12 southern Russian military.
At the moment, Russia is using Belarus as a foothold, and it continues to launch missile attacks on Ukraine from its territory. Reported by Serhiy Kulyas, Vlada Tsurkan, UATV News.